Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Brewery Ommegang, and they're out of Cooperstown, New York, and this is their Abbey Ale. So, they are calling this one a Dubbel Ale with a licorice root, orange peel, and spices. It comes in at 8.2% alcohol by volume, 20 IBUs at the time of review, and this bottle is approximately 14 and a half months old, but it also has a Best By date of December 29th of 2024. So according to the brewery, we should be more than good to go. Now, I have been on a classic Ommegang kick, I guess, recently, because last month I reviewed their Hennepin, and I also reviewed their Wit with a good friend of mine and a fellow beer tuber, Kyle, over at No Hype Beer Reviews on his channel. So Hennepin, Wit, now we're going with the Abbey Ale here. And it's funny, when I bought all three of the beers, I bought them together, and they all were a bit older than I expected, especially the Hennepin and this. They were over a year old, both of them. This one, I had really no idea it was as old. Well, I should say this and Hennepin, I had no idea that they were that old, because the Best By dates is the thing I looked at, and they were both nice. Like the Hennepin was like Best By, I think, was like May 29th. This was Best By December 29th of 2024, both of them. And I'm like, all right, we're good. And then I look, 2-year shelf life on this one from Ommegang. So I've never had this beer as substantially old as it is right now in my hands. So curious to see how everything melds together, because, you know, there are spices, orange peel, licorice root, and whatnot. But yeah, anyway, let's crack this one open, get it into the glass, and hopefully, oh, a little bit, hopefully it doesn't explode, you know. And again, it's a little older, you never know. Now, the spices, I think they said on their website, coriander, cumin, and anise, in addition to the licorice root and orange peel. So we're going to pour it into the hashtag proper glassware. Shout out to Joe Senegali. He says everything tastes better in proper glassware, and he ain't lying. So we'll do something like this, right? I'm gonna leave I'm sure there's some dregs. Can't really see, but I'm sure there's some dregs that I'll pour in at the end just to see if it changes up the flavor profile as we continue to review it. So anyway, that pours out beautiful. It kind of looks like, you know, recently I reviewed Smithwick's Irish Red Ale. This kind of looks like an Irish Red. I mean, obviously there are, again, my camera sucks, I wish it was better, but there are not even fine particulates. It's suspended in animation, all the sediment. It's just, you can see it. Like I move it around and it's just like, kind of looks like a snow globe. But anyway, yeah, it has this like beautiful, you know, like ruby red color. Again, it kind of has a little bit of like this caramel looking color, like a darker caramel. Has a finger of a straight on, I'd say, tan colored head. Nice, some rocky bubbles, some smoother looking bubbles. Almost, I was gonna say creamy, but not really creamy. More soap sudsy looking, but looks awesome, especially in the hashtag proper glassware. I mean, this is an Ommegang glass, and they have a World Beer Cup 2016. I forget when I bought this one, but obviously it was at least 8 years ago. But yeah, anyway, it looks awesome. It's just the sediment is absurd at the bottom of this. Let's get a nose. So I've always said on my channel, when it comes to Belgian beers, and I say this in every single Belgian or Belgian-style beer review, I always prefer darker Belgians to the lighter Belgians. This is, as far as the darker Belgians go, probably, you know, not close to the top. It's more of like that Belgian strong dark Belgian quad, but I still really like Belgian-style doubles or Belgian doubles, aka doubles. And I just want to let you know up front that, you know, a little bit biased towards the darker beers from Belgium in general, but even Ommegang. Just an absolutely shit ton of like caramelized, like, again, it's caramel, brown sugar, honey. And then there's this fruitiness that's like dates and raisins and things of that nature. But I am getting a little bit of black licorice, or from the licorice root and probably the star anise. Like it has that black licorice kind of vibe. And the coriander and cumin are making this kind of spicy aromatic that's kind of weird. Very like earthy smelling. A touch of citrus from the orange peel, and also probably just the malt and the hops themselves. That's why I like the darker Belgian beers, like the fruitiness you get, the caramelized sugars. I typically enjoy the yeast profiles. Like in this one, I'm not getting like any of that kind of like bubblegum, slight banana quality you would get. It smells very complex, right? Like it smells like it's going to be like super complex and over the top, but also kind of light on its feet to some degree. Yeah, it smells really good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. That first sip is really, really nice. Wow. Again, you gotta like Belgian beers to kind of, I think, you know, appreciate beers like this. I feel like, Belgian beers for a lot of people are tough to get into, and others, they just gravitate right towards them. I was somebody who enjoyed them early on, but I didn't love them. And then over time, I came to realize I liked certain Belgian beers better, aka the darker ones. If you give me like a Belgian Quad or a Belgian Strong Dark all day, every day. Buying this is like touch over medium, maybe higher side of medium. It's nice. The mouthfeel, this is what I love about the Belgian beers, and especially this style and the darker styles. While it's moderately carbonated, it's spritzy on the tongue. The carbonation dances on your tongue. It still has a smooth, creamy vibe to it on like the finish. And that's exactly what's happening here. It's a beautiful thing. The taste up front, again, tons of malty goodness. I'm getting more of like right at the forefront, like a caramel covered like cherry. So it has like a darker cherry, again, that date, that raisin, the figgy type of malt character that I associate with beers like this. I get that, but it's more to the dark cherry side of things. And again, I'm getting caramel, brown sugar, honey, maybe even a touch of toffee, brown bread, tons of malt goodness at the forefront. Halfway through the palate is where the spices kick in. And again, if you don't like black licorice, it might affect you because it's not too big for me. It's like mild, but it's definitely noticeable like midway through the palate for me. And it's not off-putting because I don't mind black licorice. I don't love it, but I don't mind it. It quickly translates into that coriander, cumin kind of, again, I would say like this earthiness that I'm getting. Like a very slight spicy kind of earthiness. This is bone dry on the finish. Very mild bitterness, but very bone dry, which is extremely welcomed in this situation because I'm sitting here, talking about all this malt goodness, and what does what accompanies the malt? A big sweetness. So that dryness really kind of stops the sweetness from dominating the palate and making this cloying and balances it out. It still leans maybe a little bit more sweet because like the first like 3/4 of your palate is sweet on the palate, at least for me, and on the finish, that dryness kicks in. It's like, okay, it went from really sweet to really dry. Now I want to go back for another sip, which I'm going to do. 8.2%, 8.2, did I say? 8.2%. I forgot it was 8.2%. Maybe a slight warming in the chest, nothing on the palate. Easily one of the better, higher ABV beers in terms of hiding the alcohol I've had from Ommegang. Like I think it does a really good job at 8.2%. Yeah, I poured in the goodies here. Let's see what that does to it because a lot of times it can change it. Nothing nose-wise. Ooh. Now I'm getting like a spicy cherry when I poured in the dregs there. One more sip. Yeah, this is just a great mixture of caramelized malt characteristics, caramelized sugars from the malt characteristics, and a bunch of, darker fruit. They meld together, touch of spiciness on top. It's sweet, but not overly so. Pretty well balanced on the finish. Hides the alcohol. Really good beer. Man, I haven't had this one in a while. The only other like variant of this I've had was their double barrel. Was it double barrel Abbey Ale? Or maybe, was it a variation of this? I don't know. I reviewed it like the first year of my channel back in like 2018. Double barrel ale. I think it might have been this double barrel aged. I don't remember. All I know is I haven't had this in quite a while, and this is hitting me in the feels. I didn't think I'd give it a like substantially higher rating based on, in the past, I'd give this like around a 4 out of 5. I'm gonna go a bit higher because I don't know. I don't know if it's the age. Maybe the age kind of mellowed everything out and just like made it a bit more cohesive as a whole. The spices are still here, despite being 14 and a half months old. Yeah, I don't know. I like this one. So Abbey Ale from Ommegang. High 4.25 and go 4.3. Yeah, I didn't think I'd go that high. I would say this, if you see a bottle of this like a year old, grab it. I'd be curious to see what other people think about this one aged. It's not a surprise because Belgian beers can age well, especially the bigger ABV ones. Like I've had some crazy old quads and Belgian strong darks, but I don't buy a ton of Dubbels, aka doubles. But this one especially, I would definitely even age longer. They give a 2-month shelf life, and that a 2 year or 2 month, 2 years shelf life. So I think this one in another, another 9.5 months or whatever, I think this would still be drinking extremely well. Price point availability, here's the best part too. In my neck of the woods, Buffalo, New York, $10.99 a 4-pack. I think I paid like $3 for that bottle all day, every day. Now, it might be a little bit more where you are, maybe a little bit cheaper. But, you know, for that quality, $3 a bottle or less, yeah. And availability to Ommegang. If you see Ommegang, you should see this one. This is one of their, you know, classic year-round beers. So, yeah, put it this way. If you've had this one, whether it's fresh, aged, somewhere in between, let me know what you think about this one. As far as a Belgian-style Dubbel from the States, this is one of my favorites after drinking this, and I think I prefer it obviously with age on it because I don't remember going nuts over it like I am right now in the past. Like it's always been a damn good beer, but this is really tasty. Like it's almost getting into like a low 4 or 5 range, which is on my channel when it comes to ratings. Like that means it's exceptional, it's awesome, it's fantastic. This is leaning towards that, and yeah, really happy about this one. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.